Lord knows it's awful. She came down to visit me, and she was the only person, I don't know how she knew I was there, but she came to see me. Oh, great. And I was just overjoyed to see her.
And also, Martha Lee and Aldi got married in my mom's living room when I was growing up in Oakland.
No, we had the reception there.
Oh, did you have the reception there?
We married at the Oakland Church of Christ.
Across the street.
Walked up the street, and the reception was at Bert and Doc's house.
Well, anyway, I have emails. I got tons of stuff in this world of instant communication. If you got anything for me, want anything from me, just let me know, and I'll be happy to share anything I can send you. And a lot of these pictures here, if you have some questions, Mike. And this was the old time office up here, the Bartlett and Coal Company. Up this road, we lived right behind this place. Up this road was the mines, and then there were other mines over here. And you'll see that there's quite a few people here. There's a mixture of black people and white people. They're carrying guns. At this time, my earliest memories, this was the year I was born, but my earliest memories, my dad telling me about when they had cleared the woods all the way around Coal Valley, up to about 102 yards, just cut it down flat. The company had done that because some of the people who were still working, the union was fighting with them, and they didn't want them to sneak around what they called a man trip that left them down into town and went up into the mines. And there's some names on here, and I've got some other names. This was a guy here, it's not got a name on him, but I remember he was a Nelson, lived in Coal Valley, and the kids called him Hog Jaw. He had a great big protruding jaw. There's another one here called, this is Lem McDonald. His wife was from Parrish, and he was a little bitty short fella, Uncle Lem we called him, and he lived between Parrish and Jasper. He died, and here's somebody called John Brannon. I remember the Brannon's name, but and
traveling through Coal Valley at that time. Yeah. What's your memory of Coal Valley? I have one distinct memory, and I hated going there. The water.
Wonderful water. Best water in the world.
It was like drinking rotten eggs.
Oh!
I just couldn't stand drinking that water, but my folks went and visited, and my dad worked down there for a year or so with your dad.
That water came out of the springs, and it had white, the black, white dregs, and you could smell it.
Oh, it's awful.
He had 13 brothers and sisters, Martha Lee.
Yeah. There were 14.
Some of them died young.
Yeah.
And when I was growing up, back in the 60s, I remember that the brothers Pat and Doc, my dad, and Martha and Veda and Letty and Lydia and Asa and Clay, grandfather William Joshua died without a will. He died intestate. They used to say, okay, I need $50. Well, here, I'll sell you my portion. And so they sold each other's interest, each other back and forth for years. And 1960s, I think, I got interested in it because I used to go up to the old house, and I remember, my memory stops with Martha, her grandmother. And I got to researching it. I went back and got some records. I started paying the taxes on it because Martha would pay taxes sometime when she could afford it. So for 20-something years, I guess, I would pay the taxes on it, Walker County. There was 3 40-acre parks, 3 40s, 40, 40, 40. And first two, John Newton at Helmstead. There was also at the corner of the lower 40, which was across from the old home place that a friend of mine painted a picture from a negative years back. they cut out a corner, a slanting pieces for the school, and that was
5 acres.
Was that 5 acres?
That was 5 acres. Lewis School was 5 acres.
Okay. And I don't remember the school. You said you do. I don't remember ever seeing the school. I don't think.
Well, the name of the school was Lewis School, and the last school year that was taught there was in 1946, because the elementary school at Oakman had burned, and there were kids around here that needed to go to school. They opened the school, and grandmother taught 19 kids, all different levels, for that school year. And then the next year they sent buses around and put the kids in the hallways, and I guess you remember that, Hugh.
I don't remember the school.
You don't? You don't remember Oakman, when the Oakman school burned, the elementary, and then they had to
I went to school in Coal Valley, and when I had to go to Oakman, the new school had been built.
Okay.
Was that the same school that my dad, Pat, went to? They walked from the old house down in the valley through the peach orchards and to the school? Because I know he went there, at least according to his story to me, for I think 6 years and left school at 13.
Well, you know, every community, just about every community had one of those old school buildings. And they were all built just alike. Tutwiler, where we live now, had one of those school buildings. That kept kids close to home. They could walk to school. And he may have gone to school there.
Yeah.
Mother did. Mother went to school there in the early 30s.
He had to go there.
Yes.
Okay.
And you have a picture. About one other thing, I have probably 100 pictures. All these out here, I have them in digital format. I can send you a CD or whatever you want. I've also got a little video I put together that talking to Jeremy about. I have a couple of copies here, but if you'll give me your name and address, I'll send you one. But to finish with the land, there was 120 acres minus the 5 for the school. There was also where this road turns at the top of the hill and went down towards Wolf Creek. Goes down where it's blue. Is it Blue Water? Comes off of 69.
Yes. Yes.
And when you start up the hill, Earnest Chapel starts up the hill. And right, I don't know if it's a house still there, right down here, before you got down to the valley where the old home place was.
This was the John Newton home right down the lane here in the valley.
Right.
Wasn't the original home somewhere down this way?
I don't know.
Where wasn't her name Elizabeth? Who was the original founding mother of the Earnest clan here?
John Newton's wife?
No.
No, Catherine.
No.
Catherine.
Louisa Catherine.
Louisa Catherine.
Davidson.
Okay. And she was the one who showed up from the Carolinas by way of Georgia, is that correct?
That was John Newton's mother.
That was
Yes.
John Newton's mother.
John Newton's mother.
John Newton's mother was Catherine Jeter.
Yes.
Right. Was she the same? Yes.
She married a Jeter.
Later.
Later.
Yeah.
Apparently her husband had died in Georgia.
Yes, that's what I understand.
Yes.
But where did they live? That was what I'm trying to figure out. I thought they lived to the south down here, and then John Newton built the home over here in the valley.
I don't know where they lived when they first came.
Where was
I don't know.
Flats?
Becky Flats? Right in front of that yellow house there?
This was Becky Flats?
No, that's not.
This was right down the road, down the path right around the corner.
Martha Lee.
This road did this way. Yes, sir.
This, Martha, just as this road goes about 100 yards down the road and makes this hard right, there used to be an open field in that little corner. And when we walked to church, Grandma would always tell me that was Uncle somebody's used to have a house right there. I have no idea who she was talking about. But it was within sight of this church building.
That was Becky's.
That plot, that little, it looked like it was about twice as big as this church building. It was just grass, a little open field.
Well, there was another 16 acres that 420, 440 sections minus the 5 to the school. And then there was another 16 acres at the corner where it starts down the hill. It came off like this. That was listed in the county taxes, the ones that were still left after the fire of 1935 burned the courthouse something down. Long story short, I spent about 20 years trying to get clear title to that land. I hired a couple of attorneys. And bottom line is the coal under the land had been originally bought by Atlas Coal Company down here in the Atlas Flats of this old bridge. And they came through here in 1800 and paid them 25, 50 cents an acre for the mineral rights. So I would never, but to get the surface rights, you had to go through a quit claim title. 20 years, lawyers and everything, I finally got enough of the relatives of the children of the children of the children who had traded it back and forth. And I think I paid them $100 a piece to sign quit claims. And finally in 1992, Taft Coal Company wanted to buy my surface rights. And I said, I don't have clear title, but this is what I've got. I've got these 20 years of records, tax records and all this. And they paid me enough to help send a kid to college and anywhere that somebody had a house. This was a big transmission line. I assume they eventually did it. But Mr. Mullinex, after I cleared that up, or we got it cleared up, they agreed to it, he bought that land, that section. So that was it. Coal company owned the mineral rights. They bought them at 50 cents an acre.
Well, the transmission line did go through. It's down there.
It went through there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love y'all.
Thank you, cousin. Go ahead.
I haven't seen this guy in 15 years. We talked by email on Christmas Day.
Yeah, yeah. So terrific, Hugh. Thank you, and we'll get more into the family history.